Alright guys, after years of waiting, multiple pump fake rollouts, and a million lies, by now you'd think that Playboi Carti fans would have PTSD from the notification Playboi Carti via Instagram. But no, Carti's fanbase has taken the bait once again, or have they? Because as crazy as it sounds, it really looks like Playboi Carti is going to drop music. And there's actually a couple of pretty solid reasons why. So I'm going to explain the recent developments, a couple of key moments from the past to give you context, and why I think Carti's rollout is for real this time. So anyways, let's get right into it. So the other day, and by other day I mean like 10 days ago or something, Playboi Carti posted to a story. It's a picture of him in a vintage Allen Iverson jersey. Shout out Allen Iverson practice. With a cigarette, you know, bunch of chains on. I don't know, just looking cool, I guess. And this was like the first sign that Carti was getting active again. Kind of what he does, randomly posted a story. He then posted a bunch of pictures to Instagram. And by the way, something a lot of people noticed is Carti has not shown his hairline in any of these pictures. So fans are worried that their favorite rapper might be balding. However, these set of pictures don't really mean much. You know, he's done this in the past. He's done a lot more than this in the past. I mean, he's literally dropped music, like actual songs, never made it to streaming platforms. So it could just be meaningless, right? Well, not really, because there's more. First of all, something really random. Timbaland posted to his story and said, "Album ready at Playboi Carti." If you don't know who Timbaland is, honestly, actually this is an underground rap channel, just like a legendary rap producer. But not only that, according to this Billboard interview that was released yesterday, Playboi Carti's I Am Music project is set to release before the end of 2024. Now, once again, for a little bit of context, he said this in 2022, he said this in 2023, and he's also said this in 2024. So hey, maybe third time's a charm, but he also has a really bad track record. As this fan said, the 2025 version is coming too. He cannot keep getting away with it. So this immediately got Carti fans thinking. You know, he started following 13 people. By the way, he followed a page called Rise of Carti, run by this creator named Stealthy, so shout out bro. Other people believe that it's gonna drop sometime in like December because Swamp Izzo, who's involved with this project, posted this story about the red spot, and they somehow correlated it to December 6th. And there are a million different theories, so I don't really care about that. And something about it dropping on the 13th, which is kind of funny, is this happened 3 years ago and nothing dropped. But anyways, we did get some new developments. For starters, we actually heard Playboi Carti's voice, like him speaking, for the first time in years. I know it's kind of crazy to think about, but there's literally like no audio of it, or I'm pretty sure. And it's because Billboard named Carti as one of the most something of the year, and they put him on their cover. Anyways, this interview was shot at Summer Smash, which happened in June, which is about 3 months ago. And in it, they ask him a plethora of stuff, the most important of which I've already gone over, which is when his project is dropping, which, as we've also went over, isn't exactly super reliable. They talked about Lil Uzi, but he dodged it. They talked about getting arrested, which honestly is not a great question to ask him, but I guess since they're Billboard, they kind of got away with it. He said, "Jail ain't no fun." And I'm not gonna lie, his fans were cooking him. They were like, "Bro, leave a woman alone and drive like a normal person and you'd be okay." Flat. Art Dealer also put the I Am Music profile picture back, and he recently posted like an action figure of Carti. So clearly, like, people are getting kind of active. However, these are just little signs. So I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why Playboi Carti has to be dropping by the end of this year. And there's just like no shot that he doesn't. So first of all, I don't think that he's going to drop a project on September. That's a little too early. Like, he doesn't have, like, on the 13th in 9 days. That's a little too much. So what I think Playboi Carti's doing here is he's just being very careful with hype. So if you remember, he went on a little run with singles with Evil Jordan, Hood by Air, 2024. There was Ketamine too, but I don't really like that single, so I'm not gonna include it. But when he dropped those singles, the hype was insane, and honestly, it really seemed like he was trying to do something there. I honestly, it's so confusing. His rollout has been so confusing, and there have been so many random developments that there's really like you could come up with a million theories and you would just have no clue. I mean, you would definitely have no clue if you came up with a million theories, but there's so many theories that, you know, might maybe sound like they make sense, but they don't really. Anyways, when he did that, there was a ton of hype, and then all of a sudden everything just stopped, and something must have been blocked, or he was just being weird. But regardless, after doing that, he couldn't really do anything, and he was kind of like stuck. The reason being, once your hype is that high, and it's like diminishing, you have to just let it die. And that's kind of what he did. I believe he's bringing it back right now. So the next reason why I think he's actually dropping is because it's just been so long. I don't think Playboi Carti is gonna wait 5 years. You know what I mean? I really think he wanted to drop last year, end of year, but the leaks or something messed it up, and then there was a tour, and then an arena tour, by the way. Arena tours are crazy to sell. And it got canceled, and there were all these issues, and I think even Filthy said he had something to drop, but like the fans messed it up. Anyways, he's been performing the same Whole Lotta Red songs, and he just recently at Summer Smash performed like his Instagram and YouTube snip or songs. But he really has been performing the exact same set forever. You know, people are getting kind of tired of it, and part of the reason why his tour really didn't sell is because it was supposed to be an entire opium tour, like Ken Carson, Homicide Gang, Destroy Lonely were supposed to be on it. It's because, you know, arena tours already aren't super appealing to most fans, and then on top of that, you're gonna be performing the same songs that you can pay the same amount of money to see at a festival. Not the same, a little more. People are gonna be like, yo, hell no. So yeah, I think just for the tour, which is very lucrative for artists like Carti, he needs to drop music. The next reason is he's kind of running out of time. Like really, Whole Lotta Red dropped at the end of 2020, so really like 2021. So it's been 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and it's about to be like 4 years since he's dropped any music. And honestly, like he could probably get away with 5, but I think it's pushing it. You know what I mean? I think that he's done so much in this rollout that it's kind of messed it up for him a little bit. You know, I think Whole Lotta Red's rollout, it just ended up being very picturesque, especially with how well the album aged and turned out. It was almost like perfect looking back at it. However, with this album, there were just so many blunders, and it seems so all over the place, and it seems like he doesn't even know what he's doing, and he probably doesn't. He probably has some sort of a plan now. So I think if he's got to do it, he's got to do it now. All right. The next thing is he going to drop a single and an album? Which is, you know, what people do a lot of times. If you remember with Whole Lotta Red, he dropped At Me, and then it wasn't part of Whole Lotta Red. It was just a single, and that song was cool, but it was like, all right, you know what? So if you also remember, that song dropped like 9 months before A Whole Lotta Red, or like 8 months. So the gap was quite big. So it wasn't exactly like a lead single to the project. I don't think with Carti's strategy, dropping a lead single makes sense, because his whole strategy is, yo, be as mysterious as possible, kind of like activate his cult as much as possible, and create a ton of hype, and just drop and just exhaust it all. You know what I mean? And I think if he did that with a single, it would kill a lot of the hype, because the whole like Carti's fan base kind of likes to play like this, you know, sometimes people joke and say it's like a toxic relationship, but it's kind of like this game of cat and mouse. Like they kind of like complain about Carti lying, and you know how I kind of said how he, you know, was all over the place, but at the end of the day, they all like it. You know what I mean? They want it. They don't want his rollout to be super predictable. They want to theorize about it. They want to have all these theories. They want to post this about it. They want to be like, oh my god, Playboi Carti just posted all his aura. You know, they want to do that. That's what his fans are into. So I think that if he was just to drop a single, it would kind of kill everything. Because think about it. If he drops a lead single, it's pretty much confirmed he's gonna drop an album by the end of the year. But even when I say that, it's a little funny, because if he dropped a single this September, like in 9 days from now, 13th, when everyone's saying he's going to, and then he just waited like 8 months to drop the album, that's totally something he would probably do. But I still think that's pushing it. And the other thing too, you gotta understand with the whole hype thing is Atmake did create a lot of hype for a project. At the time, everyone thought that Whole Lotta Red was gonna have that baby voice sound. No one really knew what it was gonna sound like. So when he dropped it, it completely caught people off guard. And since the interval between the single and the project was so long, he was able to like rebuild that hype for the project. And then Academics was like, Carti's dropping on Christmas. He's got a Christmas present for you. And I was like, whoa, you know. Anyways, that's another thing with this album as well. I feel like everyone feels like they kind of know what type of sound Carti's gonna be using on this album. That like deep frog voice, that makes sense. Unlike those kind of like old school but weirder, more hip hop type beats, if that makes sense. And I don't think Carti wants the album's sound to be predictable, so it's gonna be very interesting to see how it comes out, but I don't know. Anyways, long story short, I believe he's gonna drop this year. I'm not sure if he's gonna drop a single. It doesn't make total sense to me. If he did, I think he would drop the single like the week before and immediately drop the album. I don't think he would really waste any time to let the hype die out. And I think he realizes like, yo, it's time to drop this. But one last thing I did want to say about Carti is I think he does realize how like all this rollout speculation, all these different eras and leaks, and little like Playboi Carti via Instagram creates like all this lore, and it creates like a storyline for every project. So like Whole Lotta Red, it wasn't even about just the project dropping, it was about like everything before it. Maybe just that's not really what the album was about, but to a lot of fans, that's what the experience was about. That makes sense. And I feel like with I Am Music, it's the same thing. And that's really what separates Carti from like all these artists. Just the experience, and his branding is just so good. Of course, his music is great too. But anyways, that's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day, and see you tomorrow. Bye.